Well, again, good evening, everyone. And I am so excited to be here with Dr. Joan Jensen, who is a new published author. Congratulations, Joan.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm so excited.
Well, you have done an amazing job. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to our audience, tell them a little bit about you, and tell them about your book.
Okay, well, my name is Joan Jensen. I live in New Jersey, and my husband and I had two wonderful children, and I have four adorable grandchildren. And unfortunately, my husband, after a long bout with colon cancer, passed away last August. And I've been in several bereavement groups, grief support groups, widows groups, and I realize that we are all searching for and needing more. And I wanted to share my story as a way of helping other women and men uh, to kind of help them heal and to help them through the process because it is a process and everyone goes through it differently. So I wrote this book, which is entitled Grief Steps, the Path. And I'm saying follow this path to lessen your pain and learn to smile again. And that's what I'm focusing on in this book, that, there we will never really stop grieving, but we will learn to live with it and to move beyond and to move forward. And that's what this book is trying to do. So it's very conversational. It's kind of me speaking to people. And actually, sometimes I answer myself in the book and I speak. And I share my story. And I dedicated the book to my husband. And my husband, Tim, I love him so much and I miss him so much.
Well, Dr. Joan, you did an amazing job, and I know that at times this was hard. This was not an easy task. How did you deal with um, using this process to heal and kind of deal with the pain of it all? Because I know that a lot of times when people are talking about grief, one of the things that people say is you should write, you should journal, and Linda will be talking about some of that journaling stuff as well. But it could be hard. This was a hard thing.
It
Kind
was
of
very
share
hard.
with us how did you deal with the pain of healing, if that makes sense?
Yes, it does because grief, it is a pain. And I found that the pain is physical and emotional and mental. And but the writing of the book, it was like a catharsis for me in the sense that it helped me as I tried to help other people. And you mentioned journaling. And so what I did at the end of each chapter, I don't know if that will show up, but I have
Yep.
questions at the end of each chapter and some lines that, if people want to write down thoughts that came to them or things that they need to get out and they need to write because they've read this chapter and it brought things up. Or maybe in a lot of the chapters, I have steps that people can take, suggestions, how to get back into life, because we tend to want to just be a couch potato. And I confess that I have done that and still do. But you have to be part of the world. You can't just lock yourself away. So I do have a lot of suggestions in here as well.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that you talk about in the book is that roller coaster of emotions,
Yeah.
just, there is, some days you're okay. And I guess it's not even days, it's you're taking it moment by moment, hour by hour. What do you suggest to, someone who's listening now and they're dealing with some type of grief, whether it is the loss of a spouse, the loss of a child, of a parent? How do you deal with that roller coaster of emotions, especially when people who don't understand are saying, you're not over it yet?
Yes. Um, well, really, the way you have to start is with self-care. And one of the things that I emphasize towards the beginning of the book are 6 easy and practical steps to regain control of your life, starting with, did you take a shower today or this week or whatever? And just helpful advice starting from focusing on yourself now, because a lot of times, we're focusing on the loss, we're focusing on the negative. So trying to look at things more positively. And that's what a lot of people have said to me, that the book is a very positive experience. It won't bring you down. It will elevate your spirits and help you to be happy and positive. I could read a little part about the roller coaster of
Please,
emotions if you wish.
please do. Please do.
I have noticed that grief seems to come in waves. Sometimes I'm knocked down by a big wave of grief, but I get up again. Sputtering and splashing, I will not let grief drown me. Sometimes the waves are gentle and almost calm. I'm floating along, almost in control. Then another big wave of grief comes crashing down on me. For example, and I give a lot of examples in the book, on a warm evening, I finally agreed to go with some friends to an outdoor concert in the park. It was fun to chat and listen to live music. At one point, one of the couples decided to get up and slow dance together to one of the songs, and I smiled at my friend as she danced with her husband. But suddenly, I felt a sharp, stabbing pain.
Yeah,
I felt this pain when I realized she is happily dancing with her husband,
yeah.
and I will never dance with my husband again.
Wow.
A huge wave of grief swept over me as I struggled with my emotions. So, what did I do? As that wave of grief hit me, as my friends danced together, I decided to change my thoughts. I forced myself to, well, if you want to know what I forced myself to do, I hope you will consider buying this book, and I know it will be very helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. Y'all saw that marketing thing she did, right? I love that. I love that. Joan, can you share the link that people can go to and they can actually, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. If y'all go to that link and sign up, you actually get like her first 6 steps that she gives, which is absolutely amazing. And the thank you page will take you directly to her book. One of the things that I thought about with your book, um, Dr. Joan, is so many of us either are dealing with grief or we know someone that's dealing with grief. And I don't know what it is when you get over 50, over 60, do we have the over 50 and over 60 crowd in the room? Every time I get on Facebook, somebody has lost someone. I have a classmate who has, lost a parent, or someone has lost a spouse. We all know people who are dealing with grief. And this book is an amazing gift to someone who is dealing with grief. Dr. Joan, can you give them that link?
Yes, and I will say, Vanessa, you're right. A lot of people have said to me, my husband is fine and, I'm doing okay, but my friend, my sister, whoever, and I really want the book for them. So that's exactly right on. So the link is, I'm going to say it and then I'll spell it. drjoanjensen.com/the path. So that is spelled DRJOANJENSEN.com/the path. And I must just say, no spaces. Some people have tried to enter that and they automatically put a space or a period after doctor. Don't add anything to it, and then it'll go directly there. One other caution, we discovered that some people, the link arrived to them, the gift arrived. However, it didn't arrive in the email, it went to the spam. So just if you don't see it, just take a look and see if it might somehow have gone there.
Absolutely. Dr. Joan, I want you to kind of close with telling us what is the number one message you want someone to walk away with when they read your book?
I want I want people to know that they don't have to feel like they are stuck, that this big dark cloud of grief has covered them and they have nowhere to turn. And what I have found is that people don't know what to do first, and they don't know how to get out of this depression and sadness. And so this book will give you the hope that you need and give you the simple steps to get started, to reach out. And then it is my hope that people can, uh, you know, turn that page. We will never forget our husband or our loved one that we have lost. However, we will now be able to move ahead with our lives and enjoy our lives once again.
Awesome. Dr. Joan, let people know how they can connect with you, either by email or social media. Where can they find you if they have questions?
Well, Vanessa, I'm going to ask you, what is the best link for me to give for that number? Because I know I have a Facebook page, I have the drjoanjensen.com page. So, what do you feel is the best step there
So I
from the
feel the
first
best
one?
step would say to connect with me on Facebook. So connect with her on Facebook. Uh, is Joan Cookie?
It's Dr. Joan Jensen, author on
Okay.
Facebook.
You can
Yes,
connect with her there, and then email, you can connect with her, Joan at drjoanjensen.com as
yes,
well.
yes, that's it. I'm sorry, this is my first book, so
I know.
everything is new to me.
Congratulations. So I do have one last question to ask you. Dr. Joan, how did our class help you with this process?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would have to take the whole rest of the night to talk about that because
60 seconds, 60 seconds.
Vanessa is amazing. And it's not just enough to write the book, but there are so many steps to becoming a published author. And Vanessa, I am eternally grateful to you for taking me by the hand. And also, our whole group of authors is just so supportive and uh, helpful and showing us the way. And all of these difficult steps, where if someone is sitting home alone, they wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I don't think anybody could do it without your assistance. And I'm just so grateful that you were there to make the footprints that I could follow. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You were a joy to work with, and I'm looking forward to your next book as you decide where you're going to go for your next book. Again, those of you who are watching, make sure you go to drjoanjensen.com/the path. drjoanjensen.com/the path. The book is available now on Amazon. So I want to encourage you tonight, if you don't need this book for yourself, purchase this book for someone else. Purchase this book for someone that you know is dealing with grief, they're dealing with loss. And as you know, if you've ever dealt with loss and grief, you may not know what they're dealing with. Like you know they're dealing with that loss, and you may interact with them and you say, "Oh yeah, they're fine. You know, I just saw them the other day and they were cool. They were great." You don't know what's happening after they go home, after, they take the mask off. Is that right, Dr. Joan?
Absolutely. And no one can really know what you're going through. Everyone's grief journey is different.
Yes.
And what no one can tell you how to grieve. And you have to find your own way. But a little help is we need a lot of help. And that's what I'm hoping this book will be a way of healing. And Vanessa, you mentioned the on Amazon, and I think you noticed that it was number 7 on hot new releases.
Yeah,
So
she is already a bestseller, guys. She is already an Amazon bestseller. Congratulations, Dr. Joan.
thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you so much for all your help.
you are welcome.